Hello, everybody. I'm here today with Dr. Nicholas Johnson, and we're talking today about the project coming up on May 1st called The Wizard King. We're going to start just by asking Dr. Johnson, what is the Wizard King? Who is the Wizard King?
So the Wizard King was the Holy Roman Emperor in the late Renaissance and early Baroque. His name was Rudolph II. He was he was given that nickname as sort of being one of the most mystical and magic-obsessed rulers. He had a huge collection of magical artifacts. He had unicorn horns. He had magic staffs. He had pieces of the True Cross, all these different sort of magical objects that would help him and his empire rule more effectively. Now the problem was many people thought he was possessed by the devil. Because of his, because of his deep fascination with the occult, basically. He employed numerous astrologers, he employed numerous numerologists and herbalists and all sorts of people that sort of used mystical or occult methods to help him and gain influence. Now this is still, even though Prague was sort of a cosmopolitan city, it was still a very Catholic city. And so he was eventually deposed by his brother because of this belief that he was possessed by the devil. And the idea was, it's sort of Game of Thronesy in some way. Like it was believed that he was going to cause the downfall of mankind and turn us all into Satan worshippers. And so they deposed him. And when that happened, if I can talk about the music.
Yes,
when that happened, that led to all of the music being associated with his court basically being swept under the rug.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us so this music hasn't been performed in a very long time.
Most of it, yeah.
Can you tell us your role in reviving it and bringing it back?
So I started transcribing this music in 2009. I was in Vienna for a year, working in the archives there. I then worked in archives in Frankfurt, Freiburg, Munich, Wrocław, Poland, and Prague in the Czech Republic, and then Vienna. So those were all the different archives I worked at. And basically, these are just where the original manuscripts are held. And so for years, we were just, myself and Carmelo Campanelli, this other scholar, we were transcribing these into modern notation so that they could be read. Most of these haven't been performed since probably between 1590 and 1609, depending on what was happening in Prague at the time. A lot of them were behind the Iron Curtain in the 20th century. So even when there was an early music revival, as there was in the starting around the 1920s, that music wasn't revived because people couldn't get to it because it was locked away.
Okay.
And after the Iron Curtain fell, it became a lot easier for scholars to get access to this material. And so we transcribed it in the notation over the span of a couple of years, and then started putting it into programs like Finale and that sort of thing to make it performable.
That's great. So how much is done and how much is left to do?
Well, so our eventual goal is to do all the music of this one composer, Carolus Luython, who worked for Rudolph II for most of his life. And he wrote all types of music. Our eventual goal is to do 5 volumes in which we publish, or transcribe and publish every piece of music he wrote.
Okay.
A critical, complete edition. So far we've finished 1, and it's been 9 years. So it might take us a while. My guess is we're looking at about 20 years before we're done.
That's fantastic.
And so the next volume is going to be madrigals, and then we're going to do a volume of motets, and then we're going to do a volume of keyboard music, and then we're going to do a volume of miscellanea.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And so this first volume is the masses.
Fascinating.
We'll be performing from.
And we can hear it May 1st at the State Street Pub here in Indianapolis. Will there be fragments of unicorn horns also?
I believe so, yes.
I think we're going to have some, everyone. So put it on your calendars, ask more questions, and we'll answer them. But we look forward to doing this music. We begin rehearsals this weekend. So thanks for listening, and I hope you found it informative and that you'll come hear the music on May 1st.
Indeed. Thank you.
Indeed, yes.